Hello, everybody. It's Ragged07 with you. It is Tuesday. We're almost done with this month, man. Yeah. I can't wait. I hate this winter. I hate winter. I hate it. It's a necessary evil. Okay, kids. I want to talk a little bit about my near-death experience just because I feel like I have to work with it today for some reason. Uh, I don't think I'm going to die today, but, you never know. It's up to God, right? Okay, so I'm going to be real about this. When it happened, when I fell head first, and um, because I watched the video of it that they had, because we were going to file a lawsuit, actually, but I got a better reward. Believe me, I got something that no money can buy. Okay, we're going to get to that. I was um, I was laying right on my back. My friend turned me over. I was unconscious. My friend turned me over onto my back, and I came to, and they were screaming, "Come on, come on, come on, Dawn, where are you? Come on," like yelling at me. I'm like, I think you need to call an ambulance. That's all I said. you know, and they were like, "We're doing that. Don't worry, we're doing that." I was like, I think I broke my neck. And, okay, don't move. No. I moved my arms, I moved my legs, nothing was broken. And that shocked me. That shocked me big time. Because I have fragile bones, okay? Um, I was not really in pain. That's the weird part. It hurt. I think it was more fear, and that's why I was yelling when they were putting me on the stretcher. Because I was, it hurt. And they couldn't find a neck brace that was small enough. So I got the baby one, and well, that was sure interesting. I felt like I had the cone of shame, but I think that this story is needs to be told because it's a refresher, and I got a lot of new subscribers that may not know about what has happened, what brought me to God completely, and this is it. This event is what did. This was the deal maker, you know. This sealed everything. And what happened was basically my wheelchair kind of tripped over this rug that was bunched up, and I fell out of the chair. Boom. And I remember being in the ambulance, and the ambulance driver, at one point, I was starting to see images like that were not normal. Okay, it was like wavy pictures, like a slideshow, going before my eyes. It was like I saw my ancestors. I saw all this crazy, crazy stuff. And I remember the ambulance guy in the back, going, "Dawn, Dawn," and I remember when I was like, open my eyes. I could open my eyes, couldn't really talk, but I opened my eyes and I looked at him, and he was like, "You need to step on it," to the driver. So like, the sirens are going and all this stuff, and I'm like, man, this must be bad. This must be bad. And so they get me to the hospital. I don't remember anything. The only thing I know was laying there. Once I was pretty much physically left alone, that's when the crazy stuff started. Crazy, not in a bad way. But how would I know when my head was turned the opposite way what the monitor said? And I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad. Uh, my oxygen level was 86. I was on the road to heaven, pretty much. Well, I don't know if it was heaven, but you know, I was getting close. And I was like, well, you know, let's whatever. What can you do? So I don't know how I knew that. Yeah, I can remember specifically, and my mom and everybody was like, you know, this is afterwards, and they're like, how did you know? I was like, well, I looked at it. I said, I turned my head and I looked. They were like, no way, because your face was facing the wall. I was like, huh, wow, okay. Um, so I don't remember anything. I remember my mom bawling hysterically over me, and I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I had full feeling, but I wasn't there completely. I remember then feeling alone, like there was nobody in the room, and that's when everything started. You know, it was kind of like everything was blending together. It was like, okay, the two dimensions were like coming together. If that makes any sense, that's the only way I can describe it. It was like I was here and blah, 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 I was there. There was no tunnel, there was no light. It was just I was there, and I was standing up, and I was like, wow. Okay, first of all, discombobulating a little bit, yeah. And I was like, I'm, I, I'm standing. How? What? I'm healed. How? I have no pain. Wow. Then I kind of started looking around and realizing now this is happening. This happens really, really, really fast. Okay, this isn't like and then I said no. This happens really fast. It's like time is different. Um, but it seems like real time, but it was fast. That makes sense. I remember looking around. I remember seeing family members, but I did not know they were family members at the time until after the fact, about like, oh, I'd say 2, 3 years after. Yeah. I kept thinking the one was my grandpa, and I was like, is that Poppy? You know? But I felt like a ghost in heaven. And he kind of looked at me like, what are you doing here? Look on his face. And I was like, oh man, this ain't good. I think I'm dead, you know? And and then I came back to planet Earth, and the doctor was shining this light in my eye, probably to see my response. Um, I remember thinking, that's not the right light. That's not the right light. You know, I'm like, man, I am going to die. I was convinced that what was going on, I was dying, you know, and when the doctor shined the light on me, I was like, no, that's not the right light. That's not it. And I asked the doctor if I was going to die. I don't know how I mustered up the air to get there to ask him, but I did. And he goes, we're going to see that you don't. We're hoping you don't. And it didn't comprehend that. I didn't comprehend that I was going. We're going to make sure that you don't. We're going to try. I was like, yeah, I'm on my way out. You know, whatever. You know, leave it to God. It's good. It's good. My priest came in. I mean, then I fell back into unconsciousness, but wasn't going nowhere. Uh, my priest came in. I remember, now, I'm deaf, guys. I am deaf. My hearing aid was screwed up, something from a fall or something. And I heard her reading my last rites. And I said, "Are you ready to read my last rites?" I asked her. And she's like, "No, no, no, no. I just want you to get better." And I was like, "Yeah, right. Okay, this is in my head." And she wanted me to repeat stuff, and I couldn't do it. And she goes, "Just lay there." And she goes, "Just listen to my words." The next thing I know, I was back where I was, exact place. And I'm not the kind that has a dream and then wakes up and goes right back to it. That's never happened to me, so I don't know, you know. Um, and that's when I was like, okay. And I said to her before I went there, I was like, I feel so light. I was like, I feel like I'm just going up. And it wasn't really neat feeling. And I knew what was going on. And I was kind of scared because I was like, okay, God, where are you? And I was like looking all over the place for Jesus. Seriously. And it was the same place, same setting, same sepia. Okay. And when I said, "Where are you?" And that's when I started thinking about, God and Jesus and stuff. And just like that, I looked up and everything was white. And I heard the music. I heard the music. It was encompassing. It was just inside and outside. Um, and I just thought, wow. And I felt myself, it was almost like I was being pulled, but I was also being pulled back and pulled forward. I think it was me, my spirit wanted to go forward. And it was like, I came to, sorta, I thought. I was laying on the gurney, same room. I don't know what they did to me in between there. I have no idea. No idea. But there was these two beings. One beside me, who I couldn't see, but I felt. And I think he was my best friend that passed. And then there was a man, and he was kind of tall, not real tall. And there was this light behind him. Oh my gosh, you guys. All I can say is it was brighter than and pure than a white LED light, if that makes sense. Um, and he was all around him. Like there was no wall, it was just light. And he put his hands on my head. And I said, "Am I okay?" And he was like, "Dawn, just hang on. We're going to fix this. We're trying to fix this. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And we're going to make it better." And I said, "Okay, I trust you." And that's when really I, the only next thing I remember was going in and out, seeing the lights flashing on the ceiling because they were rushing, I'm talking jogging, to the trauma center. So I end up there and I end up on this cold table and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm in the morgue. I don't want to see this part. I don't want to be in this part, you know? And well, I was not in the morgue. And they were like, "Welcome back!" And they were all happy. And I was like, shit, I was pissed off, you guys. Oh my gosh. I was like, no. Oh no. No. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. I was so just livid. And then I just remember going back to my room and being just so angry. And I mean, I was mad. And I was cussing up a blue streak. Never said God's name in vain, though. I don't do that. Okay? But I was like, what the F is going on here? I was like, oh, I was. And I could just see my guardian angels going, oh, man, she is really hot about this. Um, And it was almost like I felt like they were giggling. You know, they know my personality. I do not want to be on this planet. You know, I want it out. I'm sick of it. You know, this was the height of some major BS in my life. I wanted out, and I didn't get there. So, um, they sedated me. I wanted sedated because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. Everything was like hyperdrive. Every sound, every sight was like hyperdrive, and it was tripping me out. And my breathing was just weird. Like it was like I never was breathing before. It was like the first time. It was like being born, but yet I was an adult. And then again, on that day, I truly was born again. That day is why I'm here today. That day gave me a second chance to make everything right. Even though I came out complaining, and I'm sure even I came out complaining when I was born from my mother, but I was complaining because I know the wickedness in this planet. And I'm tired of it. I'm still tired of it. But I have a job to do. I have a job. I got close to God. I made a literal communication tie with him and Jesus, okay? And there is a direct communication line. I do believe that. I don't go around prophesizing because I don't want to do that. I want to, I need advice. I need to how to approach things so I can make my life an example to people that he's real. Granted, I did not see him, but he was there. He was there. And he's with me all the time. And he's with you all the time. Uh, like it or not. I don't know how they do it. You know? We'll probably never know. But it's very real, people. And I'm not saying, um, I'm still a sinner. I'm still a human. I sin. We all sin. I just tried to do it lightly. I guess, we sin and sometimes we don't even realize it. We're all sinners. No matter how our life has changed, we're still this way. That's okay. But all is forgiven. You just have to ask for it. You have to ask for it. And you have to ask for his guidance. And I have learned to really, truly not trust the human race when it comes to my spirituality. There are people that I've learned from bits and pieces, but I think that it is far too we have made it a hateful thing, and it's not a hateful thing. It's very simple and very easy to do. And, you guys, I see so many people using the Word of God, the Bible, to do horrible things to people. This is why I don't quote. This is why I don't, and I read the Bible daily, okay? Usually. Jay and I have Bible study every day. And, but I don't do that because I want to live by example. There are scholars and people like that know it much better than I do, that understand it much better than I do. I believe that it's a matter also communication and prayer. And you can do it anywhere. You can do it shopping. You can do it while driving. anywhere, in the bathroom. Some of the coolest revelations that I've been told actually have been when I was in the bathroom. It's like, haha, I got you cornered, you know, let's talk. And God has a sense of humor. Jesus definitely has a sense of humor. Um, and you know what? They do let you know that they're in authority. They let you know who's in charge. And if you step out of line and you have that communication, it's like, no. And you have to back up and rethink about what you're going to do. Okay, I've talked to you guys for 20 minutes. Whoever actually watches this thing all the way through, hey, give me a thumbs up. I love you so much, all of you guys. God bless you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.